we have a thing that keeps us stronger and together, and that is a collective ideology about who we are as a people. And I think that without that, you will have this egotism, this narcissism, this, and a lot of those groups were based on those kinds of things. Like you can't like a collective of individualists is like a contradictory thing. It's like who are we and what is our thing? What are we pushing? And as you know, for the alt right, it could be boiled down to sort of white nationalism, if you want to say that, or generally pro-European, pro-white politics, fighting against the anti-white forces, whether it be big capital or big government or whatever it might be. But our unifying characteristics as a group of people, it's more than just our ideology, it's who we are. And that's kept us together more than I think any of those things that have come and gone, if you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely. So on the side of the rest of Europe, well, we have some news from Hungary. They say huge win for Hungary's far-right nationalist PM. Hungary's far-right nationalist Prime Minister Viktor Orban has scored a huge win according to provisional results. His Fidesz party received 52% of votes. That's more than 3 times the amount of the second most popular party at 16.26%.
Well, it's not unexpected. I mean, Orban is popular. That party is popular. Hungary is rallying behind him because they feel like he's protecting them from the forces of the EU, from the migration hordes, etc., etc.
So, absolutely. Yeah. Italy also, as I noted earlier, is reported to have been doing good on the nationalist side. Why Israelis danced? They were happy that the world would finally believe them as to the magnitude of the terrorist threat that they had always faced for decades. Your friend's calculation is absurd. Well, I don't know who is it that you call your friend here. We pretty much all have the same position.
I mean, okay, guy, like, all right, dude, if you want to believe that, I don't believe that you believe that. I think you're lying. I think you have an agenda, and I think you're lying. I don't believe if you would ever talk to me, I would challenge you to prove to me that you really believe that and you're not just shilling, because I don't believe that you believe that. If you know about the dancing Israelis and you're saying, oh no, they're just so happy that everyone was going to know how terrible the Arabs. Well, the Arabs weren't even a problem until Israel. Israel created that problem. Maybe, I'm sure they were happy because they knew what the United States response was going to be. But the question is, how do they know to have their van pulled up overlooking the skyline that day and for several mornings beforehand, the same van sitting there? Come on, guy. You know that you're lying.
Yeah, it's pretty weird that you would be dancing in front of 3,000 people dead by saying, oh, finally they will empathize with us. Which is pretty much what these Israelis probably were thinking, actually. They were thinking this will result in America being enslaved to Israeli interests. They will finally join us. They will join our side in our war against the Arab world. And more recently, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, of course that's what they were thinking. But that doesn't, the fact that they were thinking that doesn't mean that they didn't have foreknowledge. Other actions that they took indicate foreknowledge, like the fact that they were there at all, watching. And also, even if this guy's right, no foreknowledge, no involvement, I doubt it, but let's say, and they're just sitting there and their reaction is so unempathetic to the people that are getting killed and being burned alive and jumping out of a building, that they're dancing and jumping around. I mean, everybody in Jersey City that saw that was like, what is going on with these guys? Or I think it was Jersey. Yeah, they were in Jersey City. So everybody that saw that was like taking pictures and calling the cops, because like, who the hell are these guys? Like, even if you're right that they were just happy that now you'd have to be pretty psychopathic even to do that, to dance around knowing that people are getting burned up and jumping out and dying and all kinds of, and it would also show that they don't have any empathy for us or care for us, that it's purely still just about their own interests. So I don't buy this at all. That's a total cope by this guy.
Absolutely agree with you.
Right, these people are still sociopaths and psychopaths and deserving of our derision and shouldn't be our allies.
That's the best case interpretation. And we see the same pattern repeat with Syria. Recently, we have a new document that had to be leaked because these organizations seem not
Also,
to
how would
mention
they
it.
have known, assuming they weren't involved? Sorry, JF. Assuming they were involved, how would they have known it was Arabs?
Yeah. Like
Nobody, they just see a plane hit the Trade Center. They're all the way across the river. They're not watching TV. They're standing outside. How do they know it was Arabs?
Absolutely. And the reports of the police, if I'm correct, and Ryan Dawson is the expert on this, but these guys had some visits to the World Trade Center. They had some plans that were found, pictures of the World Trade Center found in their van. It seems to me like foreknowledge. And recently we see the repetition of this pattern. These fake acts of aggression used to convince America to engage in war. We have it with Syria now. The documents are emerging that an engineer looked at these 2 bombs. We've had a look yesterday on the show. 2 bombs dropped in 2 places. The engineer says this cannot have been dropped by a plane. This was deposited there, most likely. And then the holes, they were probably deposited in already made holes. Or even they dug some hole in the roof. But essentially, given the impact speed and weight of these bombs, which have been used as an excuse by Trump to strike Syria, they say they could not have been dropped by the Syrian regime through an airplane.
Yeah, I'm familiar with this debate, which is it has to do with this large yellow canister that was sitting on a bed in an apartment that in Bellingcat, which nobody should trust that site. Okay, that is an absolute shill, neocon shill, pro-war site that is posing. It's made up to look like a conspiracy theory site, and it's posing as if it does online investigations objectively. Not, they're total Israel shills. They are complete Zionist shills. That's what they're. Bellingcat are Zionist shills. It's run by people of that, shall we say, group. That are the majority inhabitants of the state of Israel. It's run by people of the same ethnicity, and it is in fact a shill for the state of Israel. And nobody believes that that canister would have only busted the roof. It would have busted all the way through to multiple floors if it was dropped from a plane. And it's just like sitting on a bed. Get the hell out of here. I'm sorry. Even at just eyeballing it, I'm like, that's not right. Like, that does not look right. And they're saying this was a chemical attack that was in, I believe, March of 2018, which is, or maybe April of 2018, right before the second Trump airstrike on Syria, in which I remember I was saying, this is right before my biggest Twitter account ever had been banned, after Ann Coulter herself, Queen Anne herself, was retweeting my tweets on the topic.
Oh,
I was saying, why doesn't Trump simply wait for the UN Chemical Weapons Agency investigation before he launches the attack? And Ann Coulter apparently agreed, and I got banned from Twitter for this perfectly reasonable sentiment. I mean, they say we're radicals, right? What's more radical, just going off and
then waiting?
I'm saying, why not do an investigation, wait for the international body of experts to rule on this, but they don't want to wait because they know it's all fake. They don't, and of course we now have it coming out that yes, the OPCW, which I believe is Operation for the Prevention of Chemical Weapons or something like that, a UN agency, I can't remember exactly what it stands for, but their report has been leaked, and it's like, they're like, that was not actually a chemical attack by the Assad regime. That was all fake. And the thing is, I could say I predicted this, but like, let's be honest, like that wasn't a very difficult prediction. Like anybody that's been watching foreign policy for the last 10, 15 years can predict that was going to end up being a lie.
Well, I think you should get credit for good job, because I understand what you mean. I mean, they keep doing it again and again. And at this point, I know it's going to happen again in 10 years from now, that some false flag event of some kind will be used to justify war. But in the end, in this mediatic environment, it's hard, and it requires intelligence to see these things coming, to see the patterns. And so credit to you for having us to wait, which is the least radical possible option in politics.
And I was even getting attacked. I was getting attacked by a reporter that now works for the SPLC, who worked at that time for Newsweek, but now works at the SPLC for this. He was saying these conspiracy theories, far-right radicals. And I'm like, what? I'm telling you, I think this is bogus. Let's wait for the OPCW report. Sure enough,
Maybe
comes
Paul
out
Scheer
and,
will super chat an explanation for this. The mattress may have been an extremely, these independent spring mattresses.
It was like it was like shock absorbing, right? It was that extra like Tempur-Pedic like shock absorbent type of mattress. So just all that momentum, just boom.
That's
just
actually your
dissipated.
next commercial. Your next commercial
there
for
you
a
go.
mattress should say, "These are the mattresses that have welcomed the bomb from Assad, dropped from
Look.
500 meters, and it just laid on it."
Look, this chlorine canister even can't take the impact. Like, look at that. Like, that's very good, actually. Yeah.
Simon Newsuck says, Ryan Dawson released the video today. Everyone do this now. Google Ulysses S. Grant and General Order 10. The text will reveal the truth. I don't know about it. I was not aware, but I'll Google it later tonight. Blaze
I think I know what it is.
The NPC says, why is Tucker Carlson allowed on TV? Is he false opposition? Well, on that I will say the system of control of media is not a 100% system. And there are people who slip into the cracks. And I don't think that that essentially the system of control chooses their individuals. Tucker Carlson, he revealed himself along the years to be a very good spokesperson for certain ideas, and he does it in a kind of professional way, in ways that he keeps his mainstream support while pleading to the audience, therefore generating more views and being more attractive for these producers. So it's not like they control everyone like puppets.
Yeah, I think Tucker Carlson is walking a very fine line. I also think, Tucker Carlson was kind of a bow tie wearing libertarian, kind of a wonkish intellectual type, and then he was even sort of neoconservative early in his career. But it seems to me, having watched him, I've watched him for 15 years now, 16 years really. It seems to me, having watched him these years, he got red pilled. Like, he was a libertarian, much like a lot of us were libertarians 16 years ago. And he took himself on the red pill. I'm sure of it, that he took himself on the red pill journey, probably following my own development very closely, because I was a libertarian when he was. And although I was never a neoconservative, he was a bit of a neoconservative early, but he might have been going along to get along then. I don't know. But once he established himself, he became popular because he does have that way of talking to the people that is very effective. And I don't know. I will be honest. I don't think that he will keep his job. And I've heard rumors, I can't say they're true or not, but being in New York, and there's always someone, I know someone that works at Fox, and here's the buzz, and you know what I mean? Like, these rumors fly around. And I've heard rumors from someone that knows someone that works at Fox that he's going to be out and they're going to replace him with Ben Shapiro. I can't say that's true. All I can say is that I've heard this in the grapevine. It could be, it's very plausible though. And I do know that when he does things like, he's the only voice that is against the coup in Venezuela. He's one of the only voices that is not completely towing the Zionist party line, that they can't be happy about that. He's giving Tulsi Gabbard a platform. He does very cordial interviews with her. I agree very much with her on some policies, but not on others. But she's really good on the foreign policy stuff, and he gives her a voice there. So they're not really happy with him. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him out in the next couple of years.
That would be a shocking but absolutely transparent move to replace Tucker Carlson with Ben Shapiro. That would be like, all right, we like everything about this guy, but not Jewish enough,
Also,
Robert,
I don't think Ben Shapiro doesn't have the appeal and the gravitas. I mean, the way Andrew Neil dismantled that guy and made him look like a complete moron revealed how shallow he really is. And I just don't. Because people think because he talks fast that means he's smart. He's not.
All right, I agree with you. Ben Shapiro is sell your stocks right now. He's losing value with the years.